What is going on YouTube? Hit it back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be looking at the current coin market cap, as well as DueDEX, our trading platform that we like to use here on Crypto TV. Specifically, we have quite a bit of stuff to talk about in relevance to the way the market has been trending. And it seems like compared to all the other cryptocurrencies, each one has now acted individually from the others. It used to be Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum would trade very similarly, and now they're starting to act very independent. And as we know, XRP has been trading totally different and independent from the other cryptos since we've started the past couple of weeks ago looking at the major uptrends that we've been having. You guys can just really quickly see that we did have a break to the downside on majority of these cryptocurrencies, but they're all starting to act very independently. And you can see in the overall market, we do have a generic downwards trend that we're starting to see. But when you look at the technical analysis specifically, you'll see that they are all starting to act very independent. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoTheOfficial. This way you guys can basically ask me anything you want, whether it's in relevance to what's going on within the US today, or honestly, it really doesn't even matter where you guys are, or if you have questions in the market, things like that. A ton of you guys have been taking advantage of it, so huge shout out to you. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. Alright, so as you guys can see, I am on my current YouTube channel. Just a funny thing I do want to mention yesterday. So I did put out 2 videos. I may actually stop putting out 2 videos because obviously it splits up the views. There's a lot of differences in the channel and what you guys see when I put out 2 videos. But regardless of that, I put out a video in relevance to, you guys can see the title here, and it actually got demonetized the second I posted it. Almost immediately, maybe within the 30 minutes it was up, I got demonetized due to controversial topics, which is very interesting. I feel like this is a very relevant, important topic to discuss, but it is deemed controversial for advertisers. So very interesting, and I may have to reword my titles and thumbnails. So that's funny. If you guys have any comments to that, definitely make sure to leave it down below. Otherwise, to move on into the technical analysis, you guys can see top 10 cryptos. Everything is in red for the most part, except for Unos said Leo, which is very interesting to see that now number 11. But out of the top 10, everything is down about, I would say on average, 5%. Other coins falling bigger than the others, but I do want to start off discussing some very interesting things. So I want to focus right now on DueDEX because for those of you who have been watching the channel, I've kind of strayed away from it, and I want to kind of make this a focus of attention for today's video because, as you guys know, the main reason you are here is for technical analysis and trading and how to prosper off of that. So DueDEX, for those that don't know, is the platform I like to use to short and long cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. They do plan on adding other cryptos to the website, hopefully soon. I do have to get back into contact with their social media managers in relevance to when they plan on upgrading this. But for the most part right now, we do have to discuss what exactly is going on, whether or not we should be buying long, selling short, things like that. I actually did put out a Patreon blast in relevance to the fact that we would or should consider shorting. That's what pretty much my plan was to do. So for those of you that saw that on Patreon, huge shout out to you. Kudos for those of you who took advantage of that, because it did make a fairly profitable trade. So just to pretty much, figure out what exactly is going on. You guys can see on the DueDEX chart for Bitcoin, things are very apparent, much clearer than if we were to look on the Bitcoin chart on the, the Bitcoin to Coinbase. But just to spend a little more time here, you guys can clearly see a very strong resistance. This is it right here. I'll make this a little bit thicker so you guys have a better view. But if we just go back to earlier or mid to end of 2019, but earlier in the episodes that we've been pumping out, you guys have noticed that we had some sort of triple bottom action. We had 3 retests of this support, and this was an extremely strong support that wasn't really highlighted on the Coinbase charts that we have over here. Now, what was interesting is what I've noticed within cryptocurrency is on uptrends, when we have these ascending triangles where the bulls are pushing us up higher and we have some strong resistance ahead, with these sort of slowly moving uptrends, they tend to break bearish, and that looks like what's happening right now. Once again, we retested an extremely strong resistance and we were getting rejected, and we actually tumbled down a little bit. Now, surprisingly, we look to be holding on to support, which is great, but we do have to caution the possibility of seeing an even bigger drop to the downside, closer to $5,200, closer right here, if not all the way down to $5,000 exactly, because that's the next support if this one does not hold. That is an option here, and my trade specifically on what we're going to be doing is linked on my Patreon down in the description below. And if you guys do want to have DueDEX where you guys can follow along with my short positions and trades, as well as take advantage of the sign-up bonus that DueDEX is currently offering, there is a link to that also in the description. Now, what I do want to talk about is in the fact that we are starting to break bearish. That is some very interesting, signs. This could be the focal point of the fact that we are breaking through the uptrend or breaking below the uptrend right here, and this could signify a break to the downside. So if you guys capitalized off this or haven't yet got involved in it or are planning to buy in, here is the next possibility. If we end up breaking through resistance and closing a candle below 61.65, maybe even 61.50, there is a very, very, very high chance we are going to correct even lower. Just to draw that out really quickly, expecting to see a movement all the way down to this level right here. Let me just make that green for you guys to see. So this is the movement that I'm anticipating to happen if indeed we do fall bearish and, expect to tumble lower. That is still an opportunity, and it is still a way to make profit. That's what's awesome about here. So it's very simple to set up a limit order. We would pretty much consider a price, I'd probably say closer to 60 or honestly $6,000. So it'd literally be setting up $6,000. You guys can even set up a risk manager position where you can have a stop loss in case we decide to rally back up higher. You could set that closer to 62.88. Basically, you would get rid of take profits unless something you haven't interest in. And then you would obviously set up the limit price that you want to buy in at, which I would say might be closer to $6,000. So it'd be as simple as typing in 6,000. And then we can just set up really quickly the stop loss position right here. So obviously we can set up where we would like to, position this. Obviously this would be on the higher end, closer to, I would say, 6,300. So it'd be right about here. You can clearly see the percentage loss you would be taking. You could obviously set it smaller down, 61, 65, anywhere where you feel comfortable. And it's as simply as placing the order, and because it's a limit order and not a market order, it won't fill immediately, and it will be filled when the price reaches that level. So just to jump into specifically the technical analysis, now switching our focus to the Bitcoin Coinbase chart, you guys can see it's much less clear when you look at the DueDEX chart, which is very easy to graph and read the resistance and then the topple that we had right here. When you look at Bitcoin, you can see we did actually get rejected from this downtrend right here. We do have the straight line drawn where you can see the resistances that we've hit in the past, the 1, 2, and 3, but because we're looking at this at a much more in-depth chart on the 4-hour, whoa, did not mean for that to disappear. Let me just pull this up really quickly. BTC to USD, for those of you that don't know, and it is the Coinbase one. You can see what it is that we are talking about. So I'll pull up the daily, and you can see where we're kind of hitting this resistance. I'll just draw this really quick because I did not mean for it to reset, but we do have that horizontal line placed right here, and you can see where that intersects the 1, 2, and 3 area support. Now let me just delete these, make things a little clearer, and you can clearly see the uptrend that we do have forming and the uptrend that actually managed to break. Let's then pull up the 4-hour, and bam, that is exactly what we had right here. Extending this out ever so slightly, you can see where we actually decided to break bearish from the uptrend. We have clear areas of support, but what's interesting to notice is higher lows are still being tested. So the only real way we can confirm a bearish break is really if we end up breaking below our previous high, which was closer to $5,800. So to honestly anticipate a struggle to pull us all the way down to $5,000, you may even want to consider that the option of breaking below our previous support level of $5,800 is the level that we need to basically consider, because if you guys can see, we have 1, 2, this would be the third confirmation of higher lows being reset, and this could be the bottom support. We could honestly be using this now to trade sideways, consolidate, gain some more volume, and then there is that chance we could be retesting the $6,800 resistance once again, and if lucky, head up even higher. Now to take our focus to the other cryptocurrencies, we'll look at XRP really quickly. XRP doesn't really look like it's been affected much for those of you that are hodling XRP, I really don't think there's too much to worry about. We still do have an uptrend. Yes, we did see some major movements all the way up to 18, even 19 cents, but we did also fall down to 16 cents. But for the most part, we've consolidated back to where we started from, if not even a little bit higher. So this is honestly a healthy recovery. It is a healthy pullback, and this could ultimately let us swing even higher up to our, potential focus of the 20 cent resistance, if not all the way up to the 24 cent resistance where that middle moving averages. So honestly, for those of you that are invested in XRP, we really don't look that bad, and there really is that possibility that we are going to be heading up higher in the near future, and that the next couple of weeks we may truck on forward and move up to some next levels of resistance. Now, lastly, to wrap up today's video with Litecoin and Ethereum, you guys can see on Litecoin right now, we did actually break bearish. We were not able to break through that middle moving average right here, so we did topple over. But what's nice is we are being lifted once again from support, which is right on this resistance right here, and we actually bounced up off of this, and we're now retesting that same resistance area that we've been fighting for quite some time now. So if we are able to actually break through here and then break through these resistance levels, there's quite a bit, this will indicate a very, very, very strong bullish break. So I don't think the drop is over yet. This is just another setback, but we are going to be seeing that massive volume like we've had in the past in the very near future. Now, lastly, to wrap up Ethereum, same thing applies with Ethereum, just more consolidation. We got very, very, very close to breaking through here. We did not succeed, and we had a minor setback and a minor correction to the downside. Being recovered by our previous support, this gives us another opportunity to retest that resistance, and if we are lucky, break through here and shoot us all the way back up to that $180 resistance. So there is some hope on the market, and basically to sum up everything that's happening, we're giving this another chance. We're giving this another shot, and if the market holds strong closing the weekend, we should be able to see that break and that recovery to some higher levels in 2020. Otherwise, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.